solving percents mentally. Here's the good news. We did those last year. Okay? So you know a little bit about this already. And if you were in my class, I think we took a few days and we talked about this. We did a group project where we did stuff together face to face. We figured it out in our heads. So the first two, actually three things you have to know about solving percents mentally are these three things. How to find 50% of a number, how to find 10%, how to find 1% of a number. Six two. I'm coming back to 6-2. So some things you might, when you go shopping, a lot of people want to find percents in their head when they shop. If you have 20% off, or if there's like a 30% off, you want to figure out what you're going to pay. And this is an easy way to do that in your head by just knowing a few things, a few of these things. A lot of people go out for dinner and they got to leave a tip, and they say, oh, I want to leave like a 15% tip. What is that? This is an easy way you can kind of figure that out in your head. So for 50% of a number, you're going to move the decimal, or divide by 2. That should be the easiest thing to remember. If you're going to find half of a number, divide by 2. 10% of a number, though, is the one you're going to want to remember, because if you can find 10% of a number, you can literally find any other percent of a number. Okay? If you know how to find 10%, you can find 30, you can find 60, you can find 70, you can find 90. If you can find 10%, you can find anything else. Kenzie, I'll show you. If it doesn't have a decimal and it's a whole number, where's your decimal always at in a whole number? The end. So let's say I have 400 here, and I want to find 10% of 400. Where's my decimal first? Right here, right? So if I move it over a spot, guess what? 40 is 10% of 400. Okay? Yeah. Should be able to. But let's say I have this. Let's say I have 362, and I want to find 10% of 362. 36.2. Okay? Makes sense so far? All right, so then 1% is about the same as 10%, only for 1% you move the decimal 2 times. So if I have, let's go back to 400. If I have 400, and if I want to find 1%, it's going to be 4. Yep, because I moved my decimal 2 spaces. I'll talk about that in a second. Yep. If I have, let's say I have 362 again, and I want to find 1%, 32, 3 points. Yep, 2 spaces that time. Okay. So does everybody know how to find these things? The biggest one you need to know is 10%. Because like I said, if you can find 10%, you can find 5%, you can find 20%, you can find 90%, you can find 60%. All right? So let's practice this now. So let's start with 2,000. That's going to be our big number we're going to start with. Then we're going to find 50% of it, 10% of it, and 1% of it. So you should be able to find those 3 things right off the bat. So go ahead and do that. If you can find 50, 10, and 1, do that. Oh, that's just my dash. 50% is 1,000. That's just my dash. So like 50% is 1,000. Yeah, I was just giving myself a space to write it. 10% would be 200. And 1% would be 20, right? Okay, so now let's talk about finding different percents based on what we know. Does everybody understand how to find those 3 things? Okay? So let's talk about finding 20%. How could I find 20% with what I know? Okay, so if I know 10%, I can find 20. Because what's 10 plus 10? So I'm going to take this plus this twice. So 400 would be my 20%. Does that make sense? If I want to find 20%, I'm going to double 10%. Okay, we catching that? Okay. What if I want to find... Yes, good job. That's why 10% is like the... Yeah, if you want to find 60, you could do this plus that. Because 50% plus 10% would be 60, so this plus this would be 60%. Brian? Sure. Some people, like Brain, she might like to do that way better. Or you, like I like to find 10% and go off 10%, no matter what. What if I want to find 5% now? Let's think of 5%. Right, I'm just gonna divide 10 because what if I divide 10 by 2? What do I get? So what am I gonna do to this then? Be 100. Okay. Okay, so if I want to find 10, I'm going to divide by 2 to find 5. Okay. Now let's say, knowing what I have up here, what are ways I can find 25%, Carver? So I would be 500 would be 25%. Does that make sense? Another way I could do that, can I take this divided by 2? Because that's going to give me 25%. Could I take 2 10s and a 5 and add them together? Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to find percent. What if I would, what's that? Okay, so tell me how you would find 40%. What would you do to find 40%? Okay, so Brain's going to do it this way. She's going to do 50 minus 10, so she's going to do those two subtractions. That gives me 40. What's another way, Larissa? 40%. Or 200 times 4. That'll work too. 800. You could, let's see, what else? You could do two 20s together. 4 would be 800. Yeah, then you got to figure all that. So, I'm the same way. I want to find 10. I know what 10 I'm going to work off of that. Okay? In your homework today, if you need to write down what 10% equals or what 5% equals to help yourself, fine. You shouldn't have a whole lot of work in your homework today, though. You should not. Because you should be able to do them somewhat mentally. If not, you can do a little scratch on the side. That's fine. We'll scratch. Okay. Let's do this one. Do 460. Do 460. Do 460. Find 50%, 10%, 1%, and then see if you can remember how to find 5%. Yep. Rain? We talked about this in my other class, too. Would it work for every time, though? My other class is talking about that, too. Oh, for this one it would work fine. I don't know if it would work for everyone. Let's try this one then. What would 5% of this be? Would it be 1.2? Because that's what 5 would have to be then. Because this would be 20. It would be? Okay. Yep. Well, that would make sense to be like dividing by 10. So that's why that wouldn't work. Yep. Sure. So let's do 50. 50 would be 230. 10% would be 46. 1% would be 4.6. A lot of times you don't got to worry about 1%. But to find 5%, would be 23. Because I'm going to take this divided by 2, which is basically dividing by half, right? Yep, 23. That works too. But a lot of times, don't make it too hard. I don't want to take 4.6 times 5. Too bad. Okay. All right, now, yes, Kenzie. No, you take your 10 and you divide it in half. Because it's 5 half of 10. So you're going to take half of what this number is and divide it by 2. You're going to take half of what this number is and divide this by 2 to get 5%. Okay? So like for this one, 5% would be, well, 10% would be 2.4. So 5% would be half of that, 1.8, right? 1.2, my bad. Yep. If you want to do it, that's fine. But so how are we doing so far? Okay, so let me kind of show you what you're going to see today. You're going to see things like this, but I want to just run to this next one here quick. A lot of your problems today are going to be weird numbers. They're going to be all over the place. Round them to make them easy for you. If you have a 14%, round it to 15 or round it to 10. If you have 11%, round it to 10. You can round both numbers if you want. So let's say I have something like this. 18% of 539. Let's round both of them to make them easy. Okay, so 20% of 540. So, yep, I'm fine with that. Yep. So then, go find what 10% is, because what's 10%? 54. And if I want to find 20, I'm going to take another 10% and add them together. So 108 would be 20%. Okay. Well, no, you just are finding this. You're rounding. You're using what you rounded. Okay. Why don't you? Is everybody understanding how this works today? Okay. Should we do one more together? Let's do one like. Let's do something like this. An odd one. Okay, I'll make one up. Let's do 17% of 53. Sure, round them both. And you know what? What Larissa has and what Dylan have might be two different things because everybody rounds a little different. Sure, if you want to. No. So I would round this to 20% of 50. Then I'd say, okay, 10% is 5. So another 10% would be 5. 10 plus 10 is 20, so this should be 10. What? What'd you round to? Okay. 10%. I'm going back to this one. I'm always just going to go back to what I'm rounding to. You don't got to use this one then. Okay? Yep. I'll accept many answers as long as it's close.